Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody who's here in the Zoom room. It is time for our weekly Wow Wednesday. Hello, hello, hello. I believe I'm alive on the Facebook now. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, everybody. So we're going to have such a good conversation this morning, and I'm so glad you're here. I know that you're going to be thrilled that you woke up a little bit early to get on this call. So let me go ahead and get my recording going. If I can find it, record to the cloud. Okay. Oh, all right, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to Wow Wednesday. I love this day of the week. Everybody else calls it Hump Day. We at Women's Prosperity Network call it Wow Wednesday. So, welcome. I'm so glad that you made it, and I'm looking forward to spending the next hour with you. This is Trish Carr, one of the co-founders of Women's Prosperity Network, and today we're talking about my favorite subject. Some people think it's a four-letter word, but it's not. It's five-letter word. And it's sales. Sales, sales, sales. Anybody who's in business knows that sales is the lifeblood of it. It's the grease for your wheels. It gets you moving. It's the thing that keeps your engine running, right? Sales. So what I want to share with you today are how to get good, how to get confident, and how to get really comfortable in sales so that it's something you love to do. Now, no matter where you are on the spectrum, whether you love it, whether you're not crazy about it, whether you like it. In fact, I'd love for those of you who are here with me in the Zoom room, go ahead and tell me in the chat, do I love it? Give me on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being I love it, 1 being not so much. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 5. Tell me how much you like it, and I'll let you know what everybody says. So pop it in the chat. Oh, I love it. A 4, a 2. Yeah, we all have our different feelings about it, right? A 3 is good, really good. 3, 4, 2, I'm all across the board. So wherever you are, the idea is to get comfortable, get confident, get good. So let's go into it. Here's the first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about the why I'm not comfortable. And the why I'm not comfortable often comes from what we're thinking. It's coming from right here in our head. And it's really number one, fear of rejection. Fear of rejection. It's normal, right? Nobody wants to ask for a date and then say, sorry, not interested, right? So we want to have a comfort level that makes us feel good so that we're at a 4 like Susan, or at least a 3 like Nellie, right? Someplace where we're in a good space. Now, when it comes to marketing, give me a 1 to 5 in the Zoom chat and tell me in marketing, that is the getting out there, that's the putting stuff on social media, that's the sending out emails, that's the going out networking, that's the creating new landing pages for products and services. So also a 2, couple of 2s in marketing as well. Yes, it's always like, am I doing the right thing? Is what I'm doing really working? And that's your comfort level. For a lot of us, just being live on a video is not something we're very comfortable with. And believe me, I can relate. The first time I did videos, they were terrible. They were really terrible. But the videos got me people interested in what I do. And the funny thing is, you just never know what's going to happen. So before I get into the getting comfortable with sales, let's talk a little bit about marketing, because the getting comfortable with marketing is simply you being you and being comfortable being you. You don't have to market like anybody else. You don't have to feel like you're selling, the latest Ronco product with Ginsu knives. Right? We want to feel like what we're doing makes a difference, feels good. So be yourself. And when I did that first video, so video is an amazing way of getting out there. Who does video? Put in the chat if you're doing some kind of video on social media, on YouTube, just getting yourself out there. Just give me a yes. Yeah, used to. Okay, used to. Used to is good. Let me tell you something that happened to me. For 18 months straight, I was putting out every week, every Tuesday, I would do a video. 1 minute, 2 minute, never longer than 2 minutes. And the video was tips on sales communication, how to sound good when you speak to your clients, how to sound good when you speak to your prospects, and ways to influence people to say, yes, I want what it is you have. So I would do these videos every week, 18 months straight, never stopped. Did them every week. I would have a few comments, but I wasn't like blowing up the internet with it, right? I was hoping to have way more comments, but believe it or not, my post about which way do you hang the toilet paper, the front or the back, under or over, that got hundreds of answers. But my great communication tips every week was only getting a couple. So it was a little, I don't know if I'm getting through to people or not. So after about 18 months, I had a health problem and I had to stop working for a while. So I stopped doing my Tuesday tips. And there I am going to a new doctor's office. And this is in 2022. So everybody's wearing masks. And when you wear a mask, you can't see the face, right? So I go to the front window where the receptionist is at the doctor's office. And she welcomes me in and I give her my card and I sit down. Then I get called and I go into the waiting room for the doctor. It's like Disney World. They move you from the big waiting room to the doctor's little room where he or she is gonna work on you. And then you wait another 20 minutes, right? So I'm in that area. And there I am sitting there, and all of a sudden the woman from the receptionist area comes in and I'm looking at her, and she goes, "Hey, how are you doing?" I was good. She goes, when are you going to start doing when are you going to start doing Tuesday tips with Trish again? And I went, what? She said, I really miss those tips that you do every week. And I just was dumbfounded. So I said, who are you? And she lowered her mask, and she was a woman that I had met at a WPN event probably 6 or 7 years earlier. And she was watching me every week on my Tuesday tips. So if she was watching, how many other people were watching that I didn't know? It just blew my mind. So video is a great way to be in people's space, for them to know you. And like Sherry Martin, one of our members, said this a long time ago, and I love it. You've got to be known before you're needed. Right? When you have a headache, you're going to go and get the aspirin. But when you don't have the problem, you're not going to be going after the aspirin. But you want to know that things are out there when you need them. So when you are in front of someone, showing your expertise, sharing what it is you do, they are going to know you before you're needed. So when it comes to marketing, it's about consistency. 18 months, every Tuesday. Trish, when are you doing Tuesday tips again? So consistency is the number one key to marketing. Number two key to marketing is try it and see what happens. Try it and see what happens. They say a bowl of spaghetti goes on the wall and some of it sticks. Same thing with marketing. Some of it's going to stick and some of it's not. But talking about it doesn't necessarily make it happen. So my suggestion is try it. If you have an idea that making a particular post or going on a particular video is going to make a difference, do it. Create the landing page you think you need. Ask your friend Chatty. ChatGPT can help you put that together. So marketing is about consistency. Doing things consistently on a regular basis. And oftentimes that's where we fall down. one of the things we're going to be talking about, we're going to be doing a sales clinic on September 27th. It's on Zoom, so you can come from your home, your business, wherever you are. It's on the 27th of September. It's from noon Eastern to 5 Eastern. And I'm going to put the link for it in the chat so that you can join us. I'm going to do the same thing on Facebook, and I'll put the information on there as well. And this sales clinic is all about marketing and selling. And here's the thing. Most of the time we are selling too little. Too little. We spend a lot of time marketing. We do. That's the attraction. That's the bringing people to you. That's the being known before you're needed. But the sales takes place one-on-one in a conversation, on the telephone. You remember the telephone, right? It's this thing that we actually call a telephone, but the app we use the least is the telephone. I'm talking about hello, hello. My little niece, she's 18 months old. She's always picking up my phone and going, hello, walking around going, beep, 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 beep. So even she knows people talk on the phone, but it happens on the phone. It happens belly to belly. And that's where we're falling down, is when we're doing those sales calls, because we don't want to feel salesy, because we don't want to be pushy. I don't want you to be pushy. I don't want you to be salesy. I want you to have a good time getting to know people and enjoying the conversation. You know, I was with my first husband from the time I was 18 until I was 48 years old. So when we broke up, I had no idea how to date. So what did I do? I immersed myself in dating. I got on one of the apps, and I was going on coffee dates, and I was going on phone dates, and I was meeting people at the library, and I was just practice dating. And that's really how I looked at it. I'm going to go and meet people. I'm going to have a conversation. It's going to be great, or it's not. But I went into it with just show the universe I'm taking the action. And of course, when I did, I got really good at dating, and I found the man of my dreams. So it worked. But my point is, you're not going to get better at sales unless you are curious about people, you want to meet people, look at it as dating and getting to know people, because the more people you know, the more people know you, the more you'll be known before you're needed. So let me share with you 3 things I know may be holding you back from getting the consistency and the success that you want in sales. So the first thing is, it's about getting comfortable. So that fear of rejection. Let's talk about that a little bit. It's a natural feeling. Anybody out there ever get a little nervous when you're going to make a sales call, or you're going to make a follow-up call, or you're going to have a discovery call, whatever you call it? You ever feel nervous? Tell me in the chat. Yes, sometimes, maybe. Yeah, I want to hear it. Yeah, thank you, Michael Sue. Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. All the time, April. So here's what I want to share with you. It's about understanding what that person's about, who they are. So when you come from, I'm curious, you're not going to be afraid of being rejected. The other thing is, I got a couple things. One thing is Jack Canfield. All of you have heard of him. He's well known for Chicken Soup for the Soul and all of those books. But one of the bigger things he's known for is his success principles. He is a mentor, motivator, teacher of how to be successful. And what Jack Canfield says is, if you think about it, before you asked for the sale, who were you? You were Trish. You were great. You felt good about yourself. And then you asked for a sale and someone said no. So what changed? Nothing. Somebody said no. That's all. You know, everything I learn about life, I learn from rock and roll. So many of you are familiar with Bruce Springsteen, and many of you are familiar that I really like this guy. So this is his biography, and I'm reading his biography, and it's amazing how much material I get from rock and roll. So here's the story. Bruce Springsteen, he's about 21 years old, and he's trying to sell himself to record companies, because back in the day, you had to have a record contract. Now things are different with downloads, but back then, the way you made money was having a record contract. So there was a record company called Columbia, still out there, and it was run by a famous guy. He'd been there like 50 years. His name was John Hammond. And Bruce's manager got him an interview, what do you call it when somebody's going to be showing their singing? You know what they call it. You tell me the word. Audition. Thank you, Nellie. Thank you, Michael Sue. So he's doing this audition for John Hammond. And listen what he says. He goes, bare guitar in my hands. He had to borrow a guitar from a friend to do this audition. He says, bare guitar in hands, I walked into John Hammond's office and came face to face with a hero. The man with the gray crew cut, the horn-rimmed glasses, the huge smile, and the gray suit, and the tie of my music business hero. He said, I would have been in a state of complete panic, except on the way up in the elevator, and this is what you want to hear, on the way up in the elevator, I performed a little mental jujitsu on myself. I thought, I've got nothing, so I've got nothing to lose. I can only gain should this work out. And if it doesn't, I still have what I came in with. I'm a free agent. I make my way through the world as myself, and I'll still be that person when I leave, no matter the outcome. He said, by the time I got there, I almost believed it. He said, I walked in nervous but confident. So I want you to really get that. Jack Canfield said the same thing, but Bruce put it in a place where I could actually see it, where I'm really nervous, yet I came in as myself, authentically me. And if this doesn't work out, it doesn't change anything. So it's about knowing that rejection is just someone saying no, and it could be no, not now, or no, not this time. It may not be no, not ever. And it's actually a good question to ask. Is it no, not now? And they'll say, oh, no, I'm interested later, just not now. Or they'll say, yes, that's really not something I want to do. Wouldn't you rather no? So forget about the fear of rejection. Who you are is who you are, and nothing changes when people say no to you. That's number one. Number two, the reason that we're not comfortable and the reason we're not making sales is because we're guessing what's in the pocketbooks of the people we're talking to. I know, nobody wants to do it, but think about this. How many times have you looked at who it is you're going to have a conversation with and you said to yourself, oh, they don't really have any money, or they're not really a buyer? We do this, and then we create this mental block to even getting what we want. We look in people's purses, wallets, pockets, and we think we know. We don't. We don't. My favorite experience with this. So I was working at AT&T. So I came out of corporate America. I worked for AT&T for about 16 years. And then I worked at other companies, UPS, New York Telephone, a whole bunch of colleges. But when I was working at AT&T, there was something called a phone center. Okay, so it's similar to where you go by your cell phone. Only imagine, if you can, there were all these old-fashioned telephones with the push buttons on them, and business phones that had those 6 buttons for your 6 lines. I know some of you have no idea what I'm talking about, but many of you do. So we were selling phones. We even had like Mickey Mouse phones and old-fashioned crank phones, and it was kind of a fun job. So people would come in to get their phone service. And the switchboard operator from Mayberry, April, is saying, I actually used to use one of those plug-in boards too, but I'm dating myself really bad now. Okay, so anyway, so working at the phone center, woman comes in and she looked like she lived in the bus terminal. I'm sorry to say. She was a little disheveled. She was not really together. She looked like she hadn't showered in a little while. The term we used to use back in the day was bag lady. Bag lady. She was like a bag lady. But clearly she had a home because she wanted a telephone. So she comes into the center, and the person, I was the manager then, and one of my reps came up to me and said, I'm going to take this lady here, but I don't think she's going to buy a thing. First words out of his mouth, she's not going to buy a thing. And I looked at him and I said, Michael, what are you talking about? She's a customer. She's here for service. Do your best. He goes, yeah, but I'm not going to sell anything. Okay. So he goes, he does his thing, and he comes up to me with the order and he said, see, she only got their basic thing and I didn't make any commission on this one. I was like, it's okay, there'll be another one in here. I said, but let me ask you, did you offer her something other than the basic package? And he goes, well, no, look at her. She wasn't going to buy anything. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This is a huge mistake. We don't do this. So she signs off on the order. She gets up to leave. Michael comes over and talks to me. I said, wait a minute. Let's see this. Let's watch this lady. She walks out the door. She gets into a car. It's a Rolls Royce. And they had a driver in the front seat. She was not broke. She was eccentric. She was not broke. But he treated her like she was. So how many times do we say things like, well, the rate for that is $400, but I can give you a discount at 10%. I hear it all the time. When we say the amount of money, we get nervous. Something inside of us says, you got to keep them going. You got to tell them it's the greatest deal. No, you got to tell them this is why you think why this is the best option for them, what this is going to do for them, how it's going to make them get the thing they want in their life and the things they want to go away, their problems. And then you're going to tell them this is the price. And then you're going to be quiet and let them respond. And you're not going to offer a discount until you're asked for a discount. And even then, be careful not to discount because it discounts your value. And we could talk about discount in the sales training on September 27th, and we will. But the bottom line is stop looking in their pockets. Okay, so fear of rejection, looking in their pockets and thinking what you know they have. And the third thing is, when it comes to sales, because some of us are a little nervous, we can tend to be a little tight and scripted almost and feel like, we have to say certain things. But what happens with that is the focus becomes on you rather than on your prospect or your customer. The focus is, what am I selling? How am I going to sell it? Which product is the best? Let me go in on this one and sell my 3-week package. Or let me call this person and see if they're going to buy my really big webinar. How about let me call this package and be curious to see what can I learn about them? Who are they? Perhaps I might be able to serve them, and perhaps they might be able to serve me in one way, shape, or form. So going from, hello, I just met you at a networking, to, hey, here's my credit card, is not as hard as you think. What makes it hard is you're focusing on the wrong thing. And the thing to focus on is the other person. And the easiest way to do that is to have a conversation with no agenda. Yes, yes, yes. You're going to have to know what your products and services are. Clearly, you have to know what your packages are, how much you charge for them. You've got to be confident in that. And that's simply just knowing your products, right? So you got to be confident in that. But the answers and why they need what you have comes from them, not from you. Comes from them. So what I'm talking about here is instead of you saying, when they say, I'm going to a wedding next week and I really would love to fit in my dress. That's the reason they want your help. It's not because you think they need more energy or you think they want to look better. You need to know what it is they need. So that means asking the right questions. Now, how do I go to asking questions from, hey, I just met you, to, hey, let me ask you about your life so I can find out if my products and services work for you? That's what I want to show you in the clinic. In the clinic on the 27th, you're going to learn, how do I go from, I just met you, or how do I go from, we've been talking to each other for a while, but we're still exploring. And the goal is to move from that to, yes, I want to work with you. So in the workshop, the clinic on the 27th of September, I'm going to give you scripts and I'm going to give you a process, a system that works. Because I know that when I have a system, I stop being afraid that people are going to say no. I stop guessing what's in their pocket and I focus on them. And just like when I was practice dating, every phone call, every conversation is fun. I don't get nervous. I'm having a conversation. I'm learning about people. So I would like to hear from you. What are the things that keep you a 2 at sales? What are some of the things that work for you at sales? So I'd love to hear from some of you. So if you would, you can, let me see if I can do Q&A. Let me do Q&A and get that going. And all you have to do is open up your line and I will see your hand. And when I see your hand, I will open it up. And if you are on Facebook, I will check out the Facebook as well. So April, you're really good at upselling, but cold sales scare me. So cold sales, tell me, can you open up? Can you talk? You probably can't because you're probably listening.
I'm
Cold
here.
sale. Okay, good. So tell me, what do you mean by cold sales?
I mean, people who I don't know. I offer massage therapy, which is pretty intimate.
Mm-hmm.
So walking up to someone, it's not the same as saying, "Oh, your hair, I would love to give you a haircut or color or whatever." It's walking up to someone thinking, "Hey, I'd like to rub my hands over your whole body." It's very weird.
Oh, funny. I'm trying to find you so I can put you on the spotlight as well, but I'm having trouble. So sorry I don't have you on the screen.
That's
But
okay.
well, when you say cold, you're literally meaning I'm at a party and I met somebody, right?
Right, strangers.
Yeah. So strangers, unless you're in network marketing, you're probably not walking up to strangers, right?
Right, right.
There's going to be something happening. So if you're at a party, the natural conversations go to, hey, what brought you here? Who are you connected with? And really, what's the question everybody asks everybody when they first meet them? What do you do? Right?
Right.
So that's your opening. And that's not cold. You've now started a relationship with this person just to get to that question, right? We don't usually even start with that. We do little niceties. So when you get to that question, what do you do? What do you say is the question? I'm sure you have a really good 10-second intro, right?
April the Muscle Whisperer, licensed
Uh,
since 2009.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so that's a good way to start. Another way to start might be to ask them a question. And the question might be, what do you think about massage?
Hmm.
and they go, oh, I love it, or I've never had one, or I used to get them. And then you say, well, that's what I do. I bring life to your body, or whatever you want to say. I wouldn't say I've been licensed since 2000, whatever. I would say, yeah, that's what I do. I get the joy of supporting people in their bodies so they feel good, they move, their aches and pains go away. It's awesome. I love it.
I
And
like that.
then they'll say something to you because it's a conversation, right? We're just having a conversation, and keep it like that. So try something like that, something more, because you're really, I mean, straightforward. What do you think about massage? And you're going to find out right away. And it's rare that people say, oh, I hate them. Right,
Mhm.
April? But you do
It's
get
rare.
them. Yes, but you do get it. I do know
Yes.
that. But starting to be more, don't go so serious when people ask you what you do. Now, when you talk about upselling, is that when you got them on the table and you offer them oils or stones or something like that?
Right. Oils, stones, back exfoliation, foot
Mm,
pampering, face
mm,
mask,
mm.
detox oil. Yeah, lots of amazing add-ons.
And how do you add those on? Do you like package them together, or do you do it's like $10 for this and $12 for that?
Each add-on is $20 each with a
Okay.
classic massage like Swedish or deep tissue. At least one add-on is included with their service. They don't have to pay extra
Ah,
for what's included. If they want above and beyond what's included, then they're $20 each.
that's great. I love it, April. Thanks for the great ideas.
Thank you so much.
And I appreciate it. And now have fun at those, and don't even think of them as cold. This is warm. You met somebody. It's not like you're calling, hey, this is April, the massage therapist. I want to sell you something, right? That's cold.
That's cold, yes.
Yeah. So just have
Thank you.
fun. Breathe through it. You,
Yeah, thank you.
you're so welcome. You're so welcome. The other thing I want to mention is that there's this concept of, and please go ahead and raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question. I'd love to hear your comments. There's this concept called attachment versus commitment, right? Attachment versus commitment. So when you are committed, you're very different feelings than attached. Attached to getting the sale feels like desperation. Attached feels like, I've got to get this. It's got to happen, right? It's like, anybody ever seen a chorus line? It's got to happen. It's got to happen, right? It's all about that desperate feeling. Attachment might look like a strong reaction to somebody's choice. It might make you feel frustrated. It might make you feel upset. But let me talk about commitment. Commitment looks more like holding the space for someone, not reacting, like rolling your eyes, which of course you're not do, but not reacting, seeing their highest self, seeing them through the behavior that they're presenting. So if you're attached and someone says, I, it's just not for me. I don't have the money right now. It's not a good time. What's happening in the pit of your stomach when you're hearing those? It's like, oh no, how am I going to get past these objections? Objections are the thing that hold us back because we just don't know what to say without coming across really salesy. So when you're attached, you're going to push back. Well, how much money do you spend on Starbucks? Or it's only $500. Well, only $500 to you is only $1 million to them. So we might come back with things that just aren't going to be helpful. So in the workshop, I want to take you through a process of dealing with objections. And the first thing I'm going to tell you right now is that you do not have to rush through objections. Objections are their way of being interested. It's so much worse that if you get crickets when you make your offer than if they ask you a question. And just consider it a concern, not an objection. And you want to explore the concern. So think of it like volleyball. You're all familiar with the game of volleyball. In volleyball, you don't have to hit the ball over the net with the first touch. In fact, if the ball comes over the net at you and you try to hit it back with only one hit, right? It's going to go into the net. It's going to go out of bounds. It's not going to go high enough. In volleyball, you get 3 opportunities to hit that ball. So as the objection, as the concern, well, I just don't have time for that. The first hit is, tell me a little bit more about that. Just hit it up and get it in the air and let them talk to you more about it. Tell me a little bit more about that. And let them tell you what they mean. Well, I have 4 things that I've already taken classes. My daughter's getting married in June, so that's my time. My husband and I are going to Italy in July. The summer is just not the right time. Right? So you got the answers of why she feels or why he feels there's not enough time. So the second thing you do is tell them that you heard them, and that's putting it up one more time. Absolutely. I hear you. The summer is so busy. Isn't it great? But it is busy. And congratulations on your daughter's wedding. That's so wonderful. So I hear you that now is not the right time. Let me mention that I have felt that way myself. And what I found was, after leaping in, knowing that this was something that absolutely would make a difference for my business, which you know this would make a difference for your business, right? Yeah. So after knowing that and leaping and taking the leap of faith, I found that it was the most impactful thing I ever did to move myself forward. Now, that might not be the answer. And they may say, yeah, but I just can't do it for the summer. So now the next hit is, okay, let me invite you to the next thing, and that's the over the net. That would be absolutely understood. So hearing what you're saying, you believe that this program, this product, this service will make a difference for you significantly, right? And they're going to say yes. And then you're just going to say, great. Then we can start either in September or October. Which would be better for you? So your first hit is up. Ask the question. Tell me a little bit more about that. The next hit is sharing the technique I just gave you, which I'm going to break down even more when we get together in the sales clinic. The technique of, others have had that same problem, or I have had that same problem. Here's what's happened. And then the third hit is the over the net. And notice I didn't say, do you want to just start in September? No, I gave you a choice. I asked you, do you think this is the best thing for you? You said yes. So I'm going to give you a choice. You want to start September, October? Let's get off the I'm not going to do it or I'm going to do it. Let's move to when are we going to do it? So all of these techniques take practice, practice, practice. And when you practice, you get so good at it. People often say to me, oh, you're so good. You can just say it out of, boom, 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 it comes out of your mouth. Well, I've been doing it for many, many years. So the other thing that we're going to have is we have a VIP option for our sales clinic. So on Friday, between 12 and 5 Eastern time, we're going to be learning the concepts. We're going to go through them. We're going to practice them some. But on Saturday, for those of you who want to make the next step, we're going to have a session where we're going to do one-on-one coaching, one-on-one practice in groups, so that you can make these mistakes before you talk to people. And that's the idea, is to make the mistakes before you talk to people. So be there. Join us the 27th. I'll make sure that I put the link in the chat. And then is there anybody out there who would like some feedback or some suggestions on sales and how to get better at it? If so, go ahead and raise your hand and I'll open up your line. And let me check out the Facebook people and see what they're saying right now. Yep, here we go. On Facebook, I'm getting a couple of questions. Let me go to Evis. Evis, go ahead and open up your line. How are
Hello,
you
good
today?
morning. Yes,
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, but I can be better. So I definitely need help with sales, and I wanted to ask, what is one of the best ways that I can, for example, sell my book, Flavor of Glory?
How can you sell your book?
Yeah,
Have you
like
ever?
ideas,
Oh,
ideas. Yeah.
lots of ideas. So lots of different ways to sell your book. First of all, there's a traditional way. Have you ever had a book signing?
Not yet. Not for, yes, for my first one, but not for this one.
Okay, so that's something I would do for sure. The other thing is, have you sent out an announcement of the book to your database more than once?
Yes.
More than once.
Hmm.
Okay, good. And
Like two
then,
times.
oh, okay. So you may want to continue to do it. Maybe it's in your nurture sequence.
Uh-huh.
So you know what I mean by your nurture sequence,
Yes.
where
Uh-huh.
people come into your database and then you share. So that could be something that you could do. Perhaps you could offer them a link to the first chapter,
Okay.
and that might entice them to buy the book. The other thing you can do is couple the book. Evis, what's your main business?
Is nutrition, health and nutrition coaching.
Okay, and you do um speeches and talks, you go in interviews,
Yes.
and you offer your book there as well.
Hmm.
Okay, well, that's good. The other way that you can do offer your book is and get more clients in is when you are doing one of those speaking engagements, you could offer a copy of your book with a one-on-one with you and couple that for something like $50 or $95.
Hmm.
And that would
I
get
like that idea.
you get more one-on-ones that way, and they pay you. So they get the book and they get a one-on-one for $50,
Hmm.
which means they have skin in the game,
Yeah.
which means they're more likely to actually keep their appointment with you when you do that strategy call,
Hmm.
right? Because you're charging them to talk to you and to get the book.
Yeah.
The other way that you could sell your book is to simply do what I was talking about earlier, is getting on Reels, stories, Facebook Lives, and just doing short tips from your book. So it would be, hey, it's Evis Ramirez, and I'm here with another health tip for you from the book, such and such and thus and so, whatever the name of it is. And I
Mhm.
wrote this book, and then tell them why the book is so great.
Okay.
Right? You'll say, so I do that all the time. I'll hold up a copy of my book. And usually when I'm doing speeches, Evis, when I'm doing talks on Zoom, I look for a place to open my book and read from it, because that gives me the opportunity to say, this is my book. This is why I wrote it. This is what it's going to do for you. This is why you need it. And then I open it and say, in chapter 3, I say blah, 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 right? So I read 2 sentences
Yeah.
that goes with my point that I'm making. And now everybody knows I have a book. Everybody knows I have them with me at the back of the room, or everybody knows they can get it on Amazon. So that's another way to do it. Selling books,
Okay.
though, Evis, is not going to make you rich. You know that, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, my book is 10. This is the 10-year anniversary of It's Just a Conversation, what to say and how to say it in business. And I've probably earned maybe $1,000. Nah,
Okay.
maybe more. I've sold a lot. I've sold a lot myself at venues,
Yes.
but on Amazon, maybe $1,000.
Okay.
The other way you can do it is when you're doing talks at companies or associations, instead of you often want to get paid for those, right? Another way to get paid is if they say they don't have a budget to pay you for a speaking fee, you can have them purchase your book for everyone in the audience. And instead of it being a speaking fee, the line item on their corporate books is education. And they usually have more money for education than they do for speaker fees.
Okay.
So you give
That's
them
a
the
good one.
book and they pay for the book. And that way you're still getting paid.
Yeah.
But at events was where I sold most of my books. And yeah, and I mention it every time. And the speaking and reading from it, when I read from my book, I sell twice as many books that I do if I forget to read.
Okay.
So that'll help too.
Yes.
Good
Thank you.
question. Thank you, Evis. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So any other thoughts, questions, comments before we go for the day? Here's the recap. Don't look at their purses and their wallets. You don't know what they have. Assume everybody has the means to work with you. Everybody. Second, don't be afraid of rejection. It just is no. Do that mental jujitsu when you're on your way to the call or you're picking up the phone, and make sure that you focus on your customer, your prospect, not on yourself. Stay committed, not attached. Susan Winner, I see your hand. Go ahead and open up.
You do. You see my hand. I love this conversation, so thank you for it.
You're welcome.
And I'm thanking you on behalf of everybody that's with us and everybody that's going to hear the replay, because when it comes to marketing and sales, you're just brilliant. Just brilliant. You're welcome. I wanted to emphasize though one more time, because you mentioned it just before we went to Q&A, that really for me, and I believe for everybody, the secret is to actually care about who you're talking to and pay attention. And that's why I love sales, because it gives me the opportunity, A, to get to know people, to really get to know them and to hear what, is good and what's not good at the moment.
Yeah.
And from there, if I happen to have a solution, of course, I'm going to offer to share it with them. But the key for me in life, not just in sales, but in life, is to actually care about the other person and take the focus off of you.
Yeah.
And that's what served me my entire life. So I just wanted to reemphasize that, because I do believe, yes, it's great to have a skill set. Yes, it's great to know everything. But if you don't actually care about your client, picture the car salesman. He doesn't care, right?
I have
not who you want to be.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because I have a cartoon that I love. And it's basically when we go into a sale, we're seeing dollar signs instead of the human being on the other side.
Correct.
And the cartoon says the name is Walter, not Wallet. So that's the thing.
I love it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
Anyway, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Love it. Love it. All right, everybody. Take those words, go out and have fun with marketing. Throw it on the wall. What sticks? Just try it and see what happens. But in order to do that, you got to measure what happens. So make sure you're keeping track of that spaghetti on the wall. How is it doing for you? And then care about the people that you're working with. Remember that they need you. And if you don't invite them to the next thing that's going to make a difference for them, if you don't invite them to work with you to get rid of their problem, they're going to leave you with that problem. And maybe they're going to meet someone else who does what you do. Maybe they don't do it as well. Maybe they don't do it with your expertise or your experience. But in that person's mind, they do it. So you've just greased the wheels for them to make their sale. Nellie Williams, go ahead and open up.
Good morning.
Whoop. Sorry, I hit your mute button asking my mistake. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. My question is, I had originally planned for the 2-day program. And when you moved it to 1 day, I'm speaking somewhere else on that day. I'm involved in getting your material another direction. Could I attend the VIP without attending the Friday for the practice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Susan, if you would just make a note of that Nellie's going to join the Saturday. Yeah, Nellie, you're in our momentum coaching program. I want to give you everything you need. So yeah, absolutely. You can come. Sorry you
Thank you.
can't make it on Friday.
Yeah, me too. But I'm in Surge, so I'm getting the information.
Yeah, and this went
different way.
today actually at noon your
3
time, 3
Yes.
o'clock Eastern. We're going to go into what we're going to be doing in the sales clinic. So you're going to get a heads up and a preview. So that's great.
Thank you.
I'll see you this afternoon.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Yeah, the afternoon, the second day is going to be fun. It's going to be practice. You're going to get to say the words. You're going to get to make mistakes and fix them, all that good stuff. And you're going to get to network and meet other people, which is always wonderful.
Making mistakes in a safe environment. That's
Exactly. Right.
Thank you.
Right. The goal is to make as many mistakes as you're going to make.
Get them
That's
out of the
goal.
way.
Get
Yeah.
them out the way, because if you make the mistake, you're hopefully only going to make it once.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nellie. All right, everybody. Thank you for a wonderful Wow Wednesday. Go out there. Be confident. You have this. Let's get comfortable. Let's get confident and let's get good with sales. I will see you on the 27th at the sales clinic. I hope you enjoy your Wow Wednesday, and we'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, Trish. See you this
Thank
afternoon.
you. Bye.